Everybody. We are here. It is Christmas Eve. Fergus was all up on the counter with us, and maybe he'll come back again in a few minutes. We're just kind of letting this kind of go out into the world. I know that we're doing this late. I know that we were going to try and go live at this Christmas Eve fundraiser that we went to, but it was a really small event. And it would have been really weird for us to be live.
It would have been really super awkward for everyone.
And between you, me, and the wall, you didn't need to see the food. It wasn't spectacular. It was fine.
It was typical buffet, fundraiser food. Nothing special. I mean, it was the two ladies who did it knocked themselves out doing it. They had a lot of different options, and it was the first thing that they've ever catered like that. So at their place of business. So they did a fantastic job. Everything went smoothly. Food was ready on time.
It did, but it wouldn't have been as fun as like Thanksgiving, where you had all these things to show you and talk about. And then there were probably only about 20, 25 people there in the restaurant. So it would have been a little funny. But we were thinking about you and talking about you guys. And we tried to rush back home. Hello, Miss Apple. Festive tidings to you as well. I know it is Christmas Eve, which a lot of people celebrate. If that is not you, then let it just be a beautiful winter's night that we get to spend together and talk about some food and hang out, right?
Yeah.
So don't feel, I did put, Christmas Eve, and we are going to go live tomorrow, and that's just because it's kind of the majority holiday around here. But if that's not the holidays you celebrate, I genuinely, from the heart, wish you your holiday. I'm more of a winter solstice gal myself. So, and I got my new t-shirt from Gideon. I don't know if you can see, there's little white snowflakes, and then there are these little gray bats mixed in with them. So, and they have a gargoyle, that's their logo. So this is the baby gargoyle and a Santa's hat. So that's my new holiday t-shirt. Penny says low sound for Cheryl, so maybe it's where your mic is. We're both on there.
Echo cancellation. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Is that better? It's so crazy. So we have to check the box, use echo cancellation when we have a guest. So the last time I was live was with Stacy earlier this week. So, because if not, then there's echo constantly.
And if you still think that I sound quiet, let me know, because I can't adjust it somewhere else as well.
Yeah. And Penny, I may have missed some of the conversation. I will check in because you put too much turmeric in, but let's see about that. Kelly's here.
Hello, Kelly.
And Gina S. Happy Christmas Eve. Okay, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And we may try and do something fun in the background. We'll see.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. No celebrating here. Did it yesterday. Excellent. I celebrate every holiday, every chance I get, mine or otherwise. That's kind of my rule of thumb.
Yep. We got a little something we like from all of them.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many holidays happening around this time of the year that every year I learn about a new holiday that's going on. So if you guys celebrate something, tell me, and let's see if we can find out some more trivia about it. Thank you, bats are just the cutest. I feel the same way. Okay, so of all the things you can Google, and perhaps shouldn't, Google Santa bats, B-A-T-S, and you get the cute little baby bats with Santa hats, and it is so delightful. So even if you are not a fan of Christmas, you will be a fan of Santa bats. And Apple says, I'm a winter solstice and Yuletide person. Yeah, that's kind of, I'm a little more like earth-centered, seasonal.
Yeah.
And I think it affects me that way too. So if I try to do too much when I should be quieter and kind of calming down in the winter, it's hard on me.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And so, because I think naturally we kind of have a little less, I have a less energy today. And then I think one of the reasons, it wasn't that the food wasn't delightful, it was too heavy for me. Honestly, it was a lot of pasta.
Yeah.
It was some fried eggplant. It was stuff. We do, for everyone who may watch this and is like, oh, I thought you were Starch Solution people. In case you didn't know, we do 90 to 95% so that we can go out and, like do this Triangle Veg Fest fundraiser where we can kind of try and give back a little bit and get out and mix with our local community. Like, you guys are fun always, and I get to hang out with you guys all the time, but sometimes I'm supposed to be a grown-up, put on real clothes, and go out of the house.
It's true.
Cheryl makes me.
I like to give back to those people that, do such good in the community to get the message out there about, eating the vegan foods, and they helped me. I want to help them.
Oh, absolutely. So. And we have lovely, lovely people. Oh, Lisa's here. Excellent. You guys, there's another vegan blogger. You should be like reading some recipes. She's got it going on. Merry Christmas. FOS is here. Cindy is here. Penny. Oh, Penny in the cheese restaurant. You were in first tonight. We almost came early, and then we started.
Then we started
married bickering about because there is a thing. I don't know how we can do it. I have a snow animation, so we might try and make it snow.
Yeah.
And
it would be fun if we could. Oh, Chef AJ's here.
Chef AJ, what are you doing? Tell us what you had to eat tonight. I want to know.
I bet she didn't eat tons of pasta like we did.
Placing it on top of your video inside your streaming and setting it to loop. So we might try it. Okay, so Chef AJ's here. Let me put that up so you guys didn't think we were just like pretending. Okay, so again, Chef AJ, look at my cool new shirt. I'm so excited. And Penny, I will try. If you have a question about any of the cheese recipes, so what are you guys tired of the cheese recipes? You want more? I've got some agar. I'm going to try another recipe with that. I know I said I'm going to give you an Okara ricotta probably next week. I think I said the bean goat cheese, and that's an old recipe. So I'm going to kind of fancy it up a little bit, and I have a fancier, it's not really fancier, it's a tastier fondue recipe than I have had.
Tastier than the original?
And we can pull out our cool fondue set.
Do we still have that?
They're up there, aren't they? Go look. I love cheesy goodness both in vegan food and music and things. So we had a 70s vegan fondue party, and I found the best.
Oh, we do.
Bring it down if you can.
Let me move.
Can you get And so maybe we should do a fondue party, and we can all dress up in our 70s attire or pajamas.
The heck is that? Oh, it's my platter.
I still have to clean up all the cabinets in there. Hey, Miss Karen, welcome. I hope sorry about that. Let me see if I can put this on my shirt instead. If you can't get it out, don't worry about it.
I can bring one of the things, but I can't get the whole thing out because I don't have a tall enough ladder to lift it up.
Okay.
Oh, wait, maybe I can.
All right. So lots of exciting things are happening over there. Jill is here from Colorado. Let's see what else is going on. Jeremy. Jeremy was actually with us at the fundraiser tonight, so he must have raced home and to get on that. I sound quieter. Needs to move my mic up closer. Let's see. I think it was falling off, so we'll see. Let me try and take this off. I'm gonna reconfigure. Y'all, is this not the coolest fondue set?
Where the big part is, Nick.
Doesn't that just make you want to listen to Tom Jones music? Is that better, I think? This is where I usually have it. All right.
I don't know where the middle parts are.
We'll find them. We've got our little fondue forks. I think we should have fondue for the new year. because I'm going to do a cheese class in Kathy's Cooking Club, and I'm going to be talking about that a lot more next week. All right, so let's go down to better. Okay, Chef AJ says better. Okay, awesome, going back. Plants Only Muncher says, Merry Christmas. I just made a bowl of air pop popcorn. I'll eat it while I listen to the two of you. It's your fault. I'm sorry. You talk about popcorn made me buy a microwave no oil popper, and we really do love ours. Again, Dr. McDougall does not recommend popcorn or hand-to-mouth foods, but we use it as a treat occasionally. And one of you guys, and actually whoever you are, emailed me, and I still didn't write it down in my notes, but told us to put pickle juice in the bottom of the microwave popper, and it does make a little salt stick. So if you're SOS, this would not be a tip for you, but if you do a little bit of salt, it's a great way to get that. And also, I'm wondering if you couldn't just put apple cider vinegar or something like that and still get no salt, but still get a little bit of that tang, and that could be really interesting. Someone said more cheese. I've ordered my Amazon ingredients. I know that there's a couple of things. So the cheeses we've done so far use kappa carrageenan, which I know some people have feelings about. And, you know, I think from what I read, I am not a doctor, but there's some studies that say it's horrible. There's some studies that say it's fine. I think if you have certain stomach conditions and like IBS, or you find that you're sensitive to other things, like maybe those of you sensitive to nutritional yeast as well, you could use agar-agar. Kappa carrageenan is a seaweed. It is processed, right? So it's not just seaweed, it's something removed from seaweed. But I noticed that people talk a lot about sea moss gel. That's made from carrageenan, or it's made from the seaweed. So sea moss gel has a lot of carrageenan in it. So I've ordered some sea moss, and I'm going to see if I can also replicate some of these sliceable cheeses with it, since that would be a little bit closer to a whole food. I'm also going to do an experiment with agar-agar, and there was some other experiment I'm going to do. So is it possible to mimic Swiss or blue cheese? Swiss is going to be harder. I do know there is a blogger out there who does that. You can get the molds to make blue cheese from. And I know there's some vegan, some non-dairy sources for that, but I'm not sure that you can make it without it being cultured. I have made a blue cheese dressing taking extra firm high protein tofu, which is just the one that's really pressed already. So, or press some firm tofu, crumble it up in kind of like a ranch. So I would use yogurt, unsweetened yogurt, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, maybe a little extra apple cider vinegar, some lactic acid. You could even like maybe soak the tofu in a marinade with some lemon juice and things like that, lactic acid, and maybe even a little bit of blueberry or blueberry juice to get some of it blue. I've done something like that. I'm looking into about a blue cheese. Also, someone requested a caraway cheese, which I think is from a Slavic country.
I was going to say caraway is like what they put in kielbasa, yeah?
Yeah, caraway is used a lot of different places, for sure. The reason I say Swiss is when I remember Swiss, I always hated Swiss cheese.
Oh, I liked it.
And there's something I just didn't like about it. There's some kind of, it just stood out too much. It was not, It's not a mild cheese. Like I loved a Havarti.
See, to me, that's stronger than a Swiss.
So, but I think we could do that. Oh, and Chef AJ says, I haven't eaten yet. I keep forgetting. It's only like, what, 6:45 where you are. Going to have delicata squash, one of my favorite squashes, and some veggies. Oh, and Scrappin says, happy holidays from Nancy in Northeast Ohio. Cheryl's from Ohio. Karen says, sounds great. We had some great red beans and rice with salad for dinner. Oh, red beans are the best. just the absolute best. I'm going to try and put my coat back on because I'm getting chilly. We'll see if it covers up the mic.
Can we help?
Nope. Sure. I have no choice in the matter.
Wait, your hand was right there at the thing.
Marie says hi. Oh, that's a great idea, Chef AJ. Was saying you can make raw cauliflower popcorn make cauliflower popcorn like the raw folks do. Chef AJ, what's on that? It's probably has nutritional yeast. Anything else that you use as an ingredient? I've never made it before.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hydran is here. Hydran, I taught your Okara cream cheese in class earlier this week, and it was a big hit. I changed it a little. I know you're shocked. No, I had vanilla yogurt instead of regular yogurt. So I chopped up some cranberries, added some extra vanilla and a little bit of maple syrup. So I made vanilla cranberry Okara cream cheese. But everybody loved it. Oh, that's a good point, Marie. You can get vinegar powder. And I haven't done that. I have like lime, lemon, orange powders, but I've never had that. Oh, Merry Christmas to you. Ooh, Nancy made Chef AJ's air fryer Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are awesome.
Ooh, that sounds nice. Hey, maybe we can have some of those tomorrow.
Yeah, and I've got some tempeh. So we're supposed to be having a meal with friends, but there's been zero planning. I should actually, I should look and see. I'm going to look right now and see if they've pinged me or if they've forgotten. Nope. No pinging. Nancy says Merry Christmas. Okay, that's some folks with alpha gal, and I'm not sure what that is, may react to carrageenan. Yeah, there's some different kinds of mozzarella. I'm experimenting with one that's a little more pourable. Are you talking about fresh mozzarella or something more pourable? And there's some different things we can do. I'm trying to decide if I want to I don't want to dive too far into super cultured cheeses that can take anywhere from like a week to several months to do, because you need a space to keep all that, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to be that invested. But for these quick, easy, no oil cheeses and pub cheese spreads and stuff like that, I love those. Hey, Merry Christmas, Rill. Thanks for hanging out with us. Penny says rye bread has caraway seeds. Yep. And so like I have a Slavic cabbage noodle dish that I use caraway in as well. It's a great flavor. Oh, and Chef AJ says the cauliflower popcorn uses a dehydrator, and Chef AJ is going to ask Lisa, so that would be awesome. Oh, and so the allergy to mammal products from a tick bite, that must be the
Alpha gal. Is that?
Okay.
Must be that.
Just a recipe developer here. My friend who is a nurse always laughs at me because to me she is my medical encyclopedia. Oh, hey Renee in New Jersey. So how are you guys doing? Are any of you doing something special tonight or tomorrow? Like for anybody who's kind of coming in later, we went to a fundraiser for the Triangle Veg Fest group here in town with Helene and her partner Steven, and that was kind of nice. We played like
some silly game. Like she wrapped up this package, like really like taped it, like so there were no seams or anything. Like there was barely any way to get into it, and then we had to put these rubber like mitts on that you'd use to take something out of the oven, but they were like silicone thick mitts with no fingers, just like mittens, and a hat. And then somebody would be rolling the dice. Like I would have the garb on, and then Kathy would be rolling the dice trying to get a double while I was trying to rip the stuff off of trying to get the package open. And then as soon as she would roll a double, then I would have to pass all that to the next person. And then I would start rolling the dice and rolling the dice and rolling the dice. Or the next person after her would start rolling the dice trying to get a double. But you waste so much time trying to put the hat on and the gloves on that sometimes somebody would roll a double before you could even try to rip into the package. Like, it was kind of crazy, but it was fun, and everybody got really competitive, and we had a really good time doing it.
It was really cool. I've got to say that. And I can be funny about games with people I don't know. Like, if we were all playing a game, it would be very cool. But if I'm with strangers, sometimes I get a little more
You
reserved.
get a little shy, yeah. You get a little shy.
But then you see me, and I'm like, let's win.
Yeah, you got on board really quick on this one, and then. But I tell you, the most competitive person in that room was a teenager, and like she was like, hurry up, roll that double in, because she wanted it to get back around to her. It was really funny. She was fun, and then we did a white elephant exchange, but we did it a little different than I've ever done it before. You rolled the dice, and each number on the dice corresponded to this something that you do with your gift. So we went around twice doing that, and then with them wrapped, and then everybody unwrapped, and then we went around twice again with everything unwrapped, and then it got a little bit more competitive when people could see what was available. So the stealing and stuff got a little bit more competitive, but it wasn't as cutthroat as normal white elephants get with all the stealing and stuff. So
Yeah, it was definitely kind of nice. I'm also over here trying to see if I can make it snow, and I really don't know what I'm doing. It said if I made a scene and then I made it repeat, but
maybe if you just put it in an overlay.
well, let's don't talk about this now. One of us tries or not. So if there's another moment that she's doing stuff, I'll try again. Cheryl's mic is reverberating. See, here's the thing. We can't turn off the echo cancellation. Well, it could be because I changed scenes a little bit.
Oh, it could be different cameras in that scene.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That one's muted. Okay, so this should be better now. So, we'll have snow tomorrow. I'll see. I've got a little
We'll
thing
figure
to
it out
start.
tonight.
We'll see if I can get it in there anymore.
Somebody, we were back by their Raven.
And Raven says, Yuletide blessings to everyone. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to do Mary's Mini starting January 2nd. Another thing that we're going to do in Kathy's Cooking Club, and I'm trying to decide if we're going to do this quarterly or how it's going to work. We'll probably do it in January, and then I'll make that decision. We're going to do a Mary's Mini. I think we're going to modify it from 10 days to 7 days. And that's going to be one of the classes in Kathy's Cooking Club. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do a cheese class for January. And then we're going to do this longer class where we'll meet several times on the week. And you'll get different recipes. But we'll also probably go live on as a group on the Heartbeat community. Because there's a free Heartbeat community that everybody can come and hang out. There's another one that's just for Kathy's Cooking Club members. And I'm still trying to work out some of the details. So if you guys have something special, I am thinking the Mary's Mini for January. The winner is potatoes, because all I can crave is potatoes right now.
Okay.
And
I'm on board.
So we're looking at doing that. So Raven, make sure that you're coming and hanging out with us for that. Sarah says hi from Maryland. Penny is going to a movie, Boys in the Boat, and then we'll have grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
I'm glad that I'm fulfilling everyone's grilled cheese dreams, including Cheryl's.
Yep, it was delicious.
And you guys, if you haven't already got, I know a ton of you have now bought the mason jar soup class and making the instant tomato soup, and one of them is super compliant with oats and date sugar. So the other one I used soy milk powder, and I just used some vegan sugar because I was making it for Cheryl to be like Campbell's.
Yeah.
And you felt it was pretty
darn close. Pretty darn close, because I did have some Campbell's next week, and I have to say that yours might have been just a tad bit better than that Campbell's.
I'm feeling that. So that's a good thing. So I kind of like that we're all kind of having, starch solution compliant, because you can get Ezekiel bread, has no oil in it, if you can have gluten. Also, we got some like knockoff Ezekiel bread at Aldi, so it's all the same ingredients, no oil, and it was cheaper. So Susan says, hello from Northeast Nebraska. Expecting a blizzard tonight from 9 to 12. Oh, please stay warm and safe and full of all the electricity. Penny says it will be 50 degrees tomorrow in Wisconsin, and it was like 67 degrees here today. It was very weird. Nancy had her family Christmas today, 2 sons and 3 grandkids. Had plenty of compliant foods, as well as the brisket my son cooked. Then we played games. And what
Nice.
I love about that is that everybody got a little bit of what they wanted, so no one was left out. And I love that there was a lot of compliant food, so you had a lot of choices, which is pretty awesome. Okay, now we're seeing all the... Vicky says, Merry Christmas to you both. Made your pub cheese recipe and your double chocolate chip cookies with a few changes and love them both. Excellent. Thank you.
Nice.
Merry Christmas to all of your fans as well. Lovely. And so I haven't made those cookies in a little while, but it's the double black bean.
Oh, the black bean, yeah. Those are good.
And so on the blog, I have them with some mint extract, so they're chocolate peppermint cookies.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make some of those tomorrow for
Remember
our
that
thing.
one time you made them, you crushed up like little pieces of candy cane and sprinkled them on the top too.
And I have little pieces of vegan candy cane.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, that might be nice for tomorrow then, yeah.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Oh, Lisa says we're doing an Indian and Mediterranean theme for Christmas. You go, Lisa.
Maybe we should go over there.
I'm making chickpea curry and a batch. I think it got cut off, a batch of you. Are you making a Kathy soup? No, hopefully not. Okay, awesome. Do you want to read some of these? Can you see them with your glasses?
I can.
Why don't you read that one?
Kathy says, happy holidays from Kathy in Michigan. Thank you for the wonderful recipes. I have a question about the vegan parm cheese. How long do I heat the oats? Should the oats be brown?
That's a great question. So those of you who haven't seen the oat parmesan, if you go to healthyslowcooking.com and you look up oat parm, it will come up. And it's like rolled oats, Parmesan cheese, sometimes a little lactic acid. I go back and forth with that, and some salt or salt substitute for those of you who are SOS or SOFAS free. So whenever I demo making this, and actually I demoed it on Chef AJ's show not that long ago. So if you go to Chef AJ and look it up, because the reason I like to demo it is because when you're toasting the oats, they don't really turn brown. They just go a couple of shades. And you
can smell them,
You can
right?
smell them. Yeah, so what you do is when you put them in straight, the rolled oats, smell them. And that gives you a touch point, right? So you know what they smell like. Then you start going, and you can smell, and you can go, smells the same to me. Okay, then you keep going, and you smell, and you're like, oh.
I smell a little nutty.
Yeah, I see what she's saying, and you just keep going until it smells a little bit stronger and nutty, and you've not lost your patience. So honestly, if you're having a bad day, you could toast them just a little bit. If you could really just get in there and get to the minutia if you wanted to too, but that's not necessary. And as Cheryl says, the more in certain stressful periods of time, my OCD tendencies come out. At that point, I will toast it and smell it like 800 times. But some days it's twice. So it's not really a color thing. It really is a smell thing. Is you get more than anything else.
And you can, like, even
It
as
smells in the house.
Yeah, you can even tell. I can tell when they've got to that point just from the smell change in the house.
And Nancy's saying, how do we join the cooking club? Let me make sure. I think it's down in the notes. Oh, look at us. I'm right here. Yes. If you go down, so if you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a thing where it says description, more, click that. And I've got all my sales in there. And Kathy's Cooking Club is on sale. And I'm going to be talking about it more starting after tomorrow. And for a week, this is the last week that's going to be 50% off. And it's the last week it's ever going to be $25 a month. And so what you get for $25 a month, which normally $50, so if you don't get it in the sale, also know that we do some partial scholarships and things like that. So if you're like, I think that's a super fair price and I'd love to get it at that, but I am on a fixed income, email support at Healthy Slow Cooking. Tell us why you need some help and what you can afford to pay monthly. And that helps us see how you fit into the scholarships that we have available and how far we can make those stretch. If you can pay full price and you don't need to buy it on sale, let us know and we can give you just the full price length as well, because that helps subsidize the people who can't pay. So, and what you get is you get 2 live classes a month that are recorded. You can come to them live and hang out just like we do here, only I'm cooking and not sitting down.
Right, you're like
I'm
crazy person. Like 3 hours later, I'm like the kitchen is blown up and I'm washing dishes. Sometimes I might like wash dishes during the class. You never know.
Yeah, and it depends. So we
But-
always do at least 4 recipes.
Yeah,
and
at
sometimes-
least. Most of the time, 5 or 6, I would think.
Yeah, it just kind of depends, and then I'll throw in some spice blends and some other staple recipes. So in the end, you get, so like if you can't come, if I have it, this last class was Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You couldn't come, the class is available for people to watch. If you signed up tonight, you can watch that class in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping. And then not only that, as long as you're a member of Kathy's Cooking Club, you have access to all the classes I've ever done, including downloading the PDFs for them. And it's over 100 classes. So we've done everything from like, I try to keep it a mix of some advanced techniques and some really easy. I have no teaspoons today. So we have like a can of beans class, and I'm thinking we're going to do another can of beans class probably in February when everybody's seasonal affective disorder is like kicked in on high. But then like every once in a while we'll be like, let's make tempeh, let's make tofu. And so even if you're very much a beginner, we'll have plenty of stuff for you. If you very much like to make all of your own things, there's some stuff for you as well. And with the past classes, even if we're doing basic stuff, you can always go and get some of those advanced classes or vice versa. And
it's a really great community of people that come to the classes too as well, and you'll make some friends, and everybody just chats along in the comments, and you can ask questions if you're in the live class, and you can also ask questions if you're watching the recorded version, and you can just ask a question and Kathy will get back to you a response on that, because she does monitor those.
And one of the things I do that's a little different than other people who do cooking classes is I teach you how to season and how I make my decisions and how I develop a recipe, which can help you take my recipe that I'm giving you, tweak it so it's the perfect recipe for you.
Yeah.
So that means we don't get the recipes before class, we get recipes after the class, because sometimes, like actually I made up 2 new recipes in the mason jar soup class. I'm like, well, you guys want me to do 2 more? And so we just made them up and I explained how I was going through that process. So to me, that's one of the most valuable things you get, is because I'm trying to tell you, just like with the oats, that to me, that's a very valuable tip, is how to smell, what you're looking for. We talk about smelling different spices together to see if it's a fit for what you want to do, so that you can still be very experimental, yet not ruin dinner. And that's really important. So, yeah. And also, when you're a member of Kathy's Cooking Club, you get to vote sometimes on what classes we're going to do, or request classes. And as much as I can, I've even gone out of my comfort zone to a cuisine I didn't know as much about, so I studied up on it, got what I could, and then I was able to then change some of that into whole food, plant-based, no oil. I try to always have gluten-free, soy-free, oil-free, salt-free,
all the frees.
Sugar-free options. I have someone who's allergic to corn, so I try to always have corn options as well. So if you have something super
You have somebody
special,
that's allergic to tomatoes.
yeah. So I try to do some things. It doesn't mean there'll never be a tomato in there, or there'll never be corn, but I will have an option. So as much as humanly possible, I try to include everyone in everything that we do. There are some things, like I made corn chowder. Marilyn can't have corn, so we talked about making it without corn and what things we could put in there. I think I was talking about doing some cauliflower, or like some cauliflower rice to give a similar texture.
But yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that, like, we treat everybody in the in the cooking club just like if you were coming to our house. So if you've got some specific allergy things,
Yeah, and everything's
we
taken
do everything we can
seriously.
to make sure that you have a seat at the table too.
Yeah, and that happens as well. So the big sale, I'm trying to make a big push, and I'm actually trying to double the membership if possible next week. Maybe it's a crazy goal. Maybe I'm a crazy person. But I just want to have more people in. It's such a great, warm community, and I just want more people to come in and experience that level of support, and just to kind of, also, when you're trying, the holidays and the new year can be really a little bit tough. So to have, I'm going to go to class twice a month, learn some new foods that fit into the eating plan that I've chosen. So, everything is Starch Solution compatible, but it's also Dr. McGregor compatible, Forks Over Knives, Dr. Campbell. And even if you're vegan and you're like, I don't want to water saute my onions, I want to put them in oil, you certainly can. So there's a place for everybody at that table. And Real says we had takeout food after the Christmas pageant from an Indian restaurant. Yum.
That sounds delicious.
Oh, my daughter-in-law was able to ask for no salt food for me. It was delicious. That's amazing. And Lisa says, for the Christmas dinner, bringing a chickpea curry, toum and hummus, baklava for my vegan granddaughter, and sweet potato rosemary focaccia.
Wow.
Yum.
See, I still say we're going over there.
Okay. Lisa, you got room for us? How far away? I'm trying to remember where Lisa is.
It's probably too far.
It's not North Carolina. And Fran from Flagstaff, Arizona is here. Thank you so much for joining us. And hey, Jill, you're never late. You're right on time. Lisa says, let it snow. That's what I'm trying to do, but I'm messing things up trying to get it there. Sarah says, I made the potato soup with the oats. When I added water, it ended up more mashed potatoes versus the soup, even with more water than the recipe states. Thoughts on what I may have done wrong? I would just keep going. And I will also say, when I make potato soup,
Your potato soup's a
it's
little
very thick.
It's thicker.
Quite thick.
It's thicker than like some of the potato soups that I've had in the past. It's more like towards the Spotted Dog thickness of. There's a restaurant called the Spotted Dog here that has a really good potato soup, and they have a vegan version, and and it's quite thick too. But we like something that's a little thicker. A lot of our stews, or a lot of our soups, I think we kind of tend to like more towards the stew type.
Yeah, I like it hearty. However, what I would do, Sarah, and if you can send me some pictures at kathyhester@gmail.com, we can try and deconstruct this a little bit more. It could just be you might need to triple the water to make it that way. So let's talk more about that as we go along. And I will trying to think if I'll try and make some of that tomorrow too. And
Potato soup.
Yeah.
Keep
some
asking questions.
And I'll see if I can come up with a better answer too. Gina says, I tried to toast oats one time to make fake Parmesan and then realized it was chicken bouillon, not oats. That's awesome. So then you're just making it another. There's sometimes I don't know what is my chicken bouillon versus my dry oat-based chicken bouillon versus my golden gravy mix. They look exactly the same, and they're almost the exact same things in them.
Yep.
Nancy, it's so good to see you here. I'm so glad that you are here. And Lydia's here with us on Christmas Eve. Are you doing anything fun, Lydia? A nice conversation. Oh, yeah. Penny just joined Kathy's Cooking Club last week. Looking forward to it. Yes, it's going to be awesome. Oh, thanks, Lydia. Lydia says my classes are the best. I have a really good time, and I like that we can get kind of into some of the interesting stuff of creating. I really love creating recipes, and I love us then, finding one way to do it and then turning that into several ways so that you can have the ease of repetition for making something, but the tastes get to be a little bit different too.
Well, and it's always good for you to let your creative juices flow too, because once you get in the zone, all sorts of neat stuff starts happening. And sometimes I think some of you that are in the cooking club have kind of seen those moments where her light bulb goes off and the scientist comes out. So
the mad scientist.
Mad scientist.
I'm not
yeah.
a real scientist. I'm a gut feeling human being. So I'm like, I think I should do that.
But it always
crazy.
leads to something super yummy.
It usually does. There are some times and some days that I can be a little off and it's hard to get things together, but it's only a couple of, maybe like once or twice a year for half a day. But it's usually when I'm really overtired and I've overexhausted myself and I can't connect, with that intuitive feeling that I like to use so much in cooking.
This is my Christmas present from Kathy.
It
Y'all.
is.
It's my Krampus.
It's Krampus. And it says its name is Cookie von Krampus.
Krampus.
This is the same place where I get this shirt. So I had gotten my winged kitty one. There we go. Sorry guys, I'm sure that was unpleasant. I'm not having a good microphone day.
You are not.
Well, I'm not doing it the way I always do it. So Apple says my mason jar class has been her favorite so far.
We've had a lot of those mason jar soups. Like we're going through them pretty fast because we've had quite a few days where it's just been like we just need to throw something together, and neither one of us have any energy left. So out comes the mason jar stuff.
We're getting better though. I think we burn ourselves out, both of us.
Yeah.
Kind of the last half of the year. Because we started with the McDougall program, and while it was great and energizing in so many ways, there's still just been a lot of little big changes, if that makes sense. And so I think that we're just kind of trying to take this week and work on the house. Am I still not right?
I'm almost gonna put it down front.
What do you mean down front?
Because right in here.
Oh. Hear you better I never have my mic there, though. Am I talking quieter than usual?
Maybe.
Because if I'm tired, okay, let's see how that one goes.
Because I think
poor little guy.
You're turning right into the mic when you look at me, so
Okay.
that's
All right.
Mine's in the middle.
But yeah, so like I made 2 versions of the instant tomato soup. I'm gonna see if I can't get one of those up on the blog. But next week is gonna be, we'll see. Next week may be lots of surprises for all of us, especially me, since I haven't planned everything out yet. Is that bad that I'm the one who'll be most surprised?
Yeah.
A little bit?
A little bit scary.
Well, it's because I have so many recipes that I actually need to write up and get on the blog. So like
We have a lot of work that we're both trying to get done this next week.
and I'm trying to also work on the house, so we'll just see how it all goes. But probably tomorrow I'm going to write some of the emails for next week and things like that. Fingers crossed. Or it'll be like this weekend. I'll be writing them right before I go to bed or right when I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Nancy says, I'm giving myself a Christmas present and joining the cooking club. We are so excited to
Yay.
have you.
It's going to be
That will
fun.
Lovely. And Sarah says, thank you. Hopefully we can figure it out in one way or another of what we need to do different. But we'll do it together. Jeremy says, I steam my potatoes for a while first, and then in the Instant Pot, cook time is significantly reduced. So do you steam them in your Instant Pot and then cook them on pressure in your Instant Pot? Is that what I'm hearing? Or are you steaming them somewhere else? Okay, we got the mic thing.
Yep.
Penny says, grew up day after Christmas making potato soup, making bacon bits, sauteing onion and slicing potatoes very thin, adding leftover mashed potatoes, cheddar cheese, garnished with bacon cheese, no more. You could do, okay, let's talk about how that could change. So the basic potato soup, if you're going to use some broth, you can use a vegan chickeny broth. If with the bacon, if you can take some tempeh, slice it really thin, you can even crumble it up to make bits. And I would go ahead and just put a little liquid smoke, a little bit of soy sauce if you can have it, or Bragg's. If you can't, just leave it out. A little bit of liquid smoke goes a long way.
Well, did you just cook them in a pan and
Yeah,
all together?
I probably wouldn't even marinate them. I probably would just crumble up I wouldn't even slice it thin at that point. I've done it where I've made bacon slices, but I probably would take half a thing of tempeh and crumble it up really good in a pan and maybe even put a little water so it steams to take out some of that bitterness, especially if you're using a Light Life one. Add liquid smoke. Don't have liquid smoke, add smoked paprika. Add a little date sugar, maple syrup, a little bit of sweetener. If you can get something a little darker like some mushroom powder, soy sauce, Bragg's, a little miso, something like that that works within your eating plan, and then cook it in a pan, saute until it's crispy. Set that aside. So we've got the bacon. Sauteing onions is easy. You can do that without oil. And so cheese, make my faux American cheese, which is really cheddar, a mild cheddar cheese. I called it American cheese because we made grilled cheese sandwiches with it, and Cheryl likes her grilled cheese with American cheese. Make it sharper, and you can get that recipe on healthyslowcooking.com, and just look up cheese, look up American cheese. I think we'll do it. Add a little extra mustard powder, a little extra lactic acid, or a little bit of miso or apple cider vinegar to make it sharper. There's your cheddar. That will shred with the carrageenan and the tapioca starch as written. So, and if not, if you don't want to make all that, just make a little cheese sauce and put it on top. So Penny, I want to hear how your day after Christmas potato soup comes out. You have to tell me now. Lydia says, just came from my daughter's house and spent time with my sons and grandkids. I'm receiving my daughter with my other grandchildren for lunch. That sounds lovely.
Nice.
That is a great question, Jill. Is the mason jar class included in the cooking class, or are they separate classes? The only thing at this moment the few things that are separate from Kathy's cooking class are ebooks that I come out with. Those are not included. The Ninja Creamy Experience is not included. But every other class that I've done in the food world, I did teach live video for a while, that's not included. But all of my cooking classes, so yes. And in fact, if you've seen the sale for the mason jar class and you've clicked on it, then it goes to a funnel that says, hey, do you want Kathy's Cooking Club on sale? Because you get 100 classes instead of just this one for $15. Oh, that's... Jeremy says, steam the potatoes in the Instant Pot and then cook the soup with them in the Instant Pot after I cube up the pre-seasoned potatoes. And I'm lazier than that. Actually, I'm super lazy now. I'm going to take the Breville peel and dice, and I'm going to let it peel my potatoes. Then I'm going to let it dice my potatoes, and then I'm just going to throw it in with some chickeny broth and cook it up. And then I'll smush some of the potatoes.
It sounds delicious.
That's what I would do. Chef AJ says, what is on the menu tomorrow? That is such a good question.
Can we still have Brussels sprouts tomorrow?
Yes, yes. So we're going to have Brussels sprouts sauteed with tempeh. And this is how I got Cheryl to eat Brussels sprouts. So I shred them. I have some that I shredded in the Breville peel and dice because I paid a lot of money for that thing. So I'm going to process everything I can in it. But it's delightful. If you have a regular food processor, there's a little pole and then the top disc for like shredding and slicing. Chances are good, even if you have a much less expensive food processor, you have that. So you can put a whole bunch of Brussels sprouts in the hopper and just go slice, 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 instead of using a mandolin and eating part of your thumb.
She says from experience.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not sure if that chip was me or a potato. Am I still a vegan? I'm like, it's my thumb, so I don't see why not. So I did buy a big cauliflower too in case I wanted to make another one of my cauliflower turkeys. So I did that in the class as well. We did.
Oh, they haven't had the cauliflower turkey yet, have they?
Well, they had some leftovers of it.
Oh, okay.
And that's when, but anyhow, so you can like steam a whole cauliflower for a little while in the Instant Pot, or you can just cook it much longer. But it doesn't hurt to maybe steam it for 2 minutes, the whole thing in a little sling. Let me find the OXO sling instead of trying to explain it to you because it's about my bedtime, which means So I love this thing for the Instant Pot. So I literally sit my cauliflower on it, have like a cup of water, punk, cook it for like 2-3 minutes. If it's really tiny, cook it for 0 minutes. Then I let it cool a bit. I make a mixture with yogurt, nutritional yeast, poultry seasoning, and probably some other things. Slather it and bake it. And I make a little au jus in the bottom of that dish. So you could use that as a gravy. So
it's really good.
We've done this a couple of times, and it looks like a turkey.
It's so funny how it looks like a turkey.
On the outside, it's crazy. Before you cut it, when you cut it, you see all the white, but it looks like a turkey.
It's kind of funny. Like the one she had the last time even had these little bumps right where there would be like little turkey legs.
It was not on purpose. I took the pictures and I was like, that looks really like a turkey. And then I made mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. I made the mushroom gravy with homemade oat milk. And which, while that may not sound like a big game changer, it's just when you make homemade oat milk, there's enough thickeners left over that you don't have to toast any flour or anything like that.
And then we had the cabbage stuff that you were making, that cabbage, lots of cabbage. It was lots of cabbage.
Oh, you're talking about my rainbow vegetables.
Yes, too much cabbage.
Well, it was green cabbage, red cabbage, carrots.
It was all cabbage. I don't think there were carrots in it at all. It was cabbage. It was cabbage from top to bottom. She's had
it 3 times so far in the past few months, so she's not. We will have different vegetables.
I can't have any more cabbage. I'm cabbaged out. No more cabbage.
So I bought a cauliflower, so that's an option. But I was thinking of the Brussels sprout stuff. I've just been all about the mashed potatoes, which is why I'm thinking Potato Mary's Mini too. So maybe we'll We could do Brussels sprouts. We still could do potatoes
Well,
with
we're
that.
not doing the Mary's Mini until,
No, but I'm just saying that's why I want to do potatoes
Oh.
for the Mary's Mini.
okay.
Yeah, bacon season from local spicery is a great idea, Karen. Help me with this so you can see what's going on. But Jill, did that answer the question? So when you join Kathy's Cooking Club, you get all the classes. So in general, at this point, and I'm probably going to, since I have so many classes, and I know some of you can't join the cooking club or just aren't interested in having an ongoing thing, I think in 2024, the plan right now is I may pull out one class a month from the library and sell it separately. What that would mean, if you've bought the mason jar class already, you wouldn't get a refund on Kathy's Cooking Club, but when you leave Kathy's Cooking Club, if you do, you retain anything that you've purchased separately. If you're just in Kathy's Cooking Club, when you go away from Kathy's Cooking Club, then you don't have access to the 100 classes. Does that make sense? I hope. And as far as like, I was thinking of making those double chocolate chip mint cookies for dessert.
Mm-hmm.
And
You've kind of been on a little bit of a chocolate
for me,
train
yeah,
for you lately.
yeah, because I typically don't like chocolate desserts. The other thing I was thinking of doing would be maybe a sweet potato pie. I almost wanted to do
I could totally be on board for that.
a decent pecan pie, meaning not corn syrups and stuff, but I feel like we're going out enough that I don't think we need a whole nut dessert.
No.
But I could also do some scones.
This
like
has
some
been a
cranberry
heavily
scones.
social week. 2 weeks for us, so
Yeah, so
probably not a nut dessert. It's probably not a good idea.
but we're taking suggestions too. But I like to do it with Brussels sprouts, and a lot of times when I do the shredded Brussels sprouts, I will also shred some red cabbage and carrots and give it kind of that whole rainbow look, and it's really kind of nice. You could serve that over rice. You could serve it over baked potato, mashed potatoes. It's really good over mashed potatoes to me. It gives that kind of winter stick to your ribs kind of thing. And Hydron said, I made that cheese right away and I added a cube of fermented tofu. It came out great. I love that idea. And so that's going to add some funk to the cheese. Mm-hmm. And the thing is with the sliceable cheeses that I'm making, they're not fermented, which means you can go from start to finish in like 20 minutes, mm-hmm. 20, 30 minutes if it's cold outside. It takes longer in the summer to cool the cheese down, but you can make it very, very mild because it doesn't have any of that fermentation stuff. So adding things like fermented tofu, miso, more lactic acid, vinegars. Someone was saying how could they make the port wine cheese or the pub cheese like port wine cheese, and you have two options. You could use port wine for some of the water that's used in the blending, or you could make the pub cheese and then pour some port wine and kind of swirl it with a spoon and stick it into the fridge. That's how it's going to look like old-fashioned port wine cheese.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
You can do it with balsamic vinegars like California balsamics too, and that works.
I wonder if we can make a cheese ball with that stuff.
We've made cheese balls before, and yes. Oh, good, Jill.
I don't remember making a cheese ball.
That's because you don't come to class and make things with me.
Oh, that's true.
Throwing a little
I just don't
shade
remember.
Cheryl's way.
I don't remember eating the cheese ball, and usually I eat whatever you.
No, you ate it. I think.
Did I?
Was it last year or the year before? Is what I can't remember. It might have been last year. Jessica said, I just joined the cooking club too. Merry Christmas Eve to me. Yay! Thanks for the sales link. Of course, I just want to have more people in, more people learning, and then I am, just so you guys all know who are in the cooking club, at some point going to be like, hey, can you give me some quotes about things you like or suggestions for things that you'd like to be different? Mm-hmm. And some things are negotiable and some things aren't. Me creating things during class probably isn't as negotiable. But it doesn't have, it's not like every recipe is like a magic mad scientist extravaganza, but some classes are more mad scientist-y than others.
I would say. I can always tell how creative she got by how messy the kitchen is.
Well, I can always tell when I'm like, class has gone on for 2.5 hours. I'm like, do you guys want some more recipes? Because I'm feeling one. So, you know, it's awesome. Great. Apple says releasing single classes for purchases is a great idea. It's been the mason jar soup class has been very popular. I have actually, okay, confession time. I'm not a good salesperson. I like to do the classes. I like you guys to learn with me. But what sometimes I do is I just go, oh yeah, I've got Kathy's Cooking Club, and I just go on and I don't tell anybody about it. So next week you are going to hear a lot about it, and then hopefully I don't have to say anything about it for a while. And maybe once a quarter. I'm working with a business coach who's trying to get me to do this monthly. I don't think I can do a class monthly. I don't think I can do Kathy's Cooking Club push monthly. So please forgive me and know that I'm still going to give, like next week, as you hear about Kathy's Cooking Club, just like last week you heard about the mason jar class, and I tried to not make it just obnoxious. It's just there in every email. You can skip over it or not, but because I did what I was supposed to do, which is to tell people about it for like a couple of weeks. And it's sold really well. And I know it's a great class and people will get good use out of it. So anyhow, that's that. Oh, that's a great question. Will we continue to get the discount for Kathy's Cooking Club as long as we remain a member? Absolutely. So if you get it for $25 now, it's $25 a month for as long as you're a member. If you leave and come back, you have to come back at whatever the price is at that point. And a lot of times around Christmas, November, December, I put on a sale, but I'm pretty sure this is the last time it's ever going to be $25.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't said it was $25 last month and it was going to stay this way till the beginning of January, I would have moved it to $30. So I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah.
So if that works for you, if for some reason you have a special circumstance,
Just
email Cheryl. If you're like, but I don't get paid till January 4th, email Cheryl and we will work with you on that. But if you're watching this in July, you need to email us with your special circumstances and that you need a scholarship, and why you need a scholarship, and how much you can pay a month.
Yeah.
Affordably. So that helps us know, because like if
we're the only two people that would look at it.
yeah,
so
when we don't share that
we don't
information,
share that
with,
information with
anyone.
anybody. No one will know that you're on a scholarship. Anything like that. There'll be no way to distinguish you different from any of the other members.
Yeah. Oh, and when does the class sale start? The class has been on sale since before Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it's been on all the videos. So if you look below, and on Facebook, it should be somewhere around in there. If you can't find it, email support@healthyslowcooking.com, and
I'll
Cheryl
send you a link.
We'll send you the link with the coupon code. So it's been going, but it's probably going to end. I haven't decided exactly. It probably won't end exactly on January 1st, but somewhere thereabouts. So getting it, if you can get it now, get it now. If you know, oh, I don't get paid till January 15th, but I want to do it, email Cheryl. For those of you who email before January 1st, we will do our best to extend the sale as much as we're able to. So there's that. Claudia says, Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Jessica said it was me that asked how to make the port wine cheese. I didn't get to all my emails today. Yeah, I think the best way to make it look all cool, like like fondue set worthy would be to make the cheese, don't let the pub cheese, don't let it set up quite all the way, and swirl it in just a little bit. You could also, depending on how thick or thin your port wine is you could reduce it some on the stove and make it into a syrup if you find that it's just not making any really good difference. Mrs. Iris is here from Long Island. Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Jill, that's awesome. A gift to yourself. And if you have some problems, you should get an email, all of you people who are joining now, that give you access to it. The way it's organized, once you get there, and I'm going to go through all this stuff next week too, so we're going to do some videos about it, obviously not tomorrow, but it'll show you some stuff that you don't have access to. So like, let's say you join Kathy's Cooking Club, it'll show grayed out the Ninja Creamy experience or something like that.
But if you already have the Ninja Creamy experience and you join the cooking club, then on your dashboard, you'll see both of them listed in color rather than one of them grayed out.
Yeah, and if you have some trouble navigating, we can help. And again, since I'm doing a big push, I think probably what we'll do is do a couple of like little how to get arounds, but classes are by years. So I have 2024 classes, then I'm planning 2023 classes, 2022. I am trying to work on some other things, like maybe to make it a little easier, but right now you kind of just have to look through. There's a video and downloadables, PDFs with recipes. They're not fancy ebooks, they're just PDFs with recipes. Okay. Oh, and Jill says, I just joined, a gift to myself, excellent. Oh, Mel just joined the cooking club too. My husband and I love you both. Oh,
thank you very much.
That means the world. Happy holidays, everyone from Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix and Scottsdale, 50-50 for a year. A long time ago, I worked banquet serving at the Phoenician when I lived there. Facebook user said, okay, thanks. I messed up while I was on the order page a day or so ago. Email support at Healthy Slow Cooking. If you meant to try to upgrade to Kathy's Cooking Club and you bought the $15 thing, email her and we will make it work. We'll make it work, so don't worry. Yeah, I think the port wine reduction, because when I'm thinking about it, I have a couple of different port wines that I use really infrequently. So as they get older, sometimes they get thicker.
I was like, do we even have port wine?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
We have
seeing
two port wines. We have one
Where
from.
are they? Where do you
They're
keep? Oh, with
they're over there.
With that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, one of them we got. You remember years ago when we went to Georgia with Jenny and Jeffrey, and we went to a winery.
Yes.
We have that port wine. That's a long time ago.
From like the Three Sisters or whatever
Yeah,
it was?
yeah, we got it. Yeah. So if it's brand new or I will go grab something cheap at Trader Joe's or somewhere else too. At that point, it's going to be much thinner, kind of like balsamics. Aged balsamics are much nicer to work with. New balsamics are just kind of liquidy. But yeah, I think you could reduce it. You could even try, if you're feeling super lazy, you could put it in a slow cooker with the lid off, which I'm feeling very lazy right now. Merry Christmas to you, Shirley Wolf. I like Wolf.
Wolf.
That's a great name.
I got a wolf on my shirt.
Oh, Marie, that's right. You told me you made yours with sherry instead of half of the water. You emailed me back, and it came very close to port wine in flavor. I was thinking sherry or port wine, and also, you know what else would be good for the pub cheese is beer, like a nice dark beer. And we get a lot of Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic beers. And they're quite low calorie and they're quite flavorful.
I'm not a huge beer fan, but some of these are like really, really tasty.
The one we had in the last live, or I think it was the last live. It might
Yeah,
have
the
been
one that was like campfire. It tasted like s'mores.
It was really good.
It was like
And they're-
s'mores and smoke. I can't explain it,
And they're
but
very
it
good
was
about
really good.
marking if there's any kind of lactose in the beer. So they're really good about keeping very clear about what's vegan and what's not as well. All right. So do you guys have some more questions
Yeah.
about anything or things you want to talk about?
I'm so happy that like I've taken some time off work so I can get some little projects done around the house. And even though we've been really social the past few days, I've actually got quite a few little projects done that I had on my list. We are officially on fiber for our internet, which we have been waiting for like 3 years, maybe 3.5 years for them to
Yes.
finally go the extra half a mile down the road. Like before the pandemic, they came within a mile of us this way, and then about a half a mile from us this way, and they just stopped and they didn't go any further. And so for like 3.5 years, we've been sitting here like all fumey. Like, well, she wasn't fumey, but I just like pout about how like they're a half a mile away and I can't have fiber. And so about a month and a half ago, they started laying lines down, and last Thursday, the nice little fiber person came by and talked to Kathy, and 2 days later they were attempting to install our fiber service. I say attempting because remember when we talked about how our cable line got cut? Well,
They cut
apparently
the
when
magic fiber line that wasn't turned on too.
they cut the fiber line, and since we were the first house going in on this fiber line, that's how they found out that the fiber line was cut at the main road, was because they couldn't give us our fiber that day because they had to come fix the lines. But they did it even on that nasty day that it was just terrible storms and it was just nasty weather, and the guy came out and he troubleshooted everything, and the next day he had a line crew out there. So I mean, I've been really impressed with the customer service so far. I don't know if they're doing all this just to like make a really good first impression, but so far they have made a tremendous customer service first impression, and we are so very happy to have more stable internet. And and then I've done some cleaning projects. So I've been real happy. I've been getting a little something done every day, and I think we're still looking to, in the first year, do some, what did you guys call it? They call it cloning, modeling. What is it when we're going to clean with other people?
Body doubling.
Body doubling. Clone.
She does not know the language of the teaspoons.
I do not.
She lives the life of the teaspoons, but she does not know. Because she's like, what does that mean? Does that mean like people are coming here? And I'm like, no, you can do body. And so for those of you who don't know.
I was like, are these people coming to our house? Because this is not going to work for me.
Like we hang out with you so long, but like it was such a like we talked to people we hadn't talked to in a while, and we stood outside the restaurant tonight, and like I'm so exhausted from spending real time with real human beings. And I know you guys, it's not that you guys don't count, you count more, and that it's less stressful for me. So I get to hang out with you longer and talk to you more. But if you're like, body doubling a lot of time is used in certain communities. So like, or like co-working. So I'm in another group where they do co-working stuff together. So we work on work stuff, just like they're on Zoom, we're not talking. So we've talked about maybe doing some projects that way. I'm going to have a little coming down time from this extra social bit of time.
Yeah.
But we are going to be on here tomorrow and just chat with you like this. But sometimes it can feel overwhelming when I'm doing something that's really like, I might bring you guys into my office, which is completely unusable at this point, and stuff has just gotten piled in and piled up, and this is not me exaggerating. It's a complete disaster, and it's
all photography props.
and things like
But
that.
you can get to the treadmill.
You can get to the one thing.
One thing you can do in there is
and there is a
walk on the
desk
treadmill.
portion on the treadmill, so I can work in there if I have to. But like, I just have to be feeling just a little bit better to bring you into the things that, you know, I get a little bit shameful about. You know, I think we all do. We all have things that we feel a little bit ashamed, like, oh, I should have done that and I should have done this.
And whoever said that our connection was great, thank you, because I was feeling like there were times when I was watching some playbacks where we had some not so very clear moments, and I really felt like that was the network kind of phasing in and out. So.
Oh, Apple, you've just made me so happy. So Apple said, I watched the Princess Switch movies. Thank you for the suggestion. They are zany, are they not?
Zany is the perfect word
that
for those.
So
the
like,
perfect word.
Okay, I love, and it's my brain loves this like very stable way sometimes. So like at Christmas time, I do watch a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies. And the Princess Switch movies, the first one is formula Hallmark movie. The second one gets a little bit crazier. The third one is just crazy. And it's funny and it's hilarious. And I was really hoping they were going to keep going, and there would have been one last year and this year. But I guess there are only so many clones of a human being they're willing to accept. My suspension of disbelief for Princess Switch is there is no end to it. I could do 100 of them.
I thought she was crazy when she told me I had to watch these movies, and I have thoroughly enjoyed them. In fact, we restarted watching them recently, but we haven't got.
Now we were like halfway through the second one,
yeah.
So that's probably it's a little late now. We probably won't do it tonight, but maybe we'll put it on tomorrow while we're cleaning up some up here.
That would be fun.
That would be. Yeah. That would be delightful, and maybe I'll make some cookies. If I end up cooking some stuff, I might pop on as well. I don't just kind of like today. I don't know when we're going to go on tomorrow, but we'll come on once or twice tomorrow for sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, fiber, like we have been waiting so long, and it's just.
And Randy finally figured out how to lodge the Breville peeler properly in the bottom storage compartment. So what she's talking, it's a double-decker accessory kit for the Breville peel and dice. And there's an arrow that you can only see if you like move it on the plastic to get the light to hit it right. And that little arrow, once you find it, will match up with an arrow inside of there. But also the dice kit, it's the big dicing blade, sharp side up. I keep the plastic thing that goes on it, then the slicer, and then I keep the little thing that goes over the slice so no one gets hurt, and then put the peeler in there. So in case anybody else needed to know that. And Apple says, I love body doubling. It's a common practice in my life. And sometimes it helps me, and sometimes it doesn't. And I find that very interesting. And I'm trying to get curious about that. Like this week, I've been body doubling myself.
Yeah, like
it's really,
this week she is like had to have like this whole little corner of the room to herself, and there's needed to be like lots of quiet time, because if the cat breathes too loud next to her, she's like, I gotta have my headphones.
Well, and what's happening is I'm doing a lot of different tasks in my head. So even when I'm pretty sure I have some ADHD or some kind of spicy brain stuff, but when my brain is working one way, I can just really dive into it. But what happens is, and I can get so much done. But if anything takes me away, it takes me out, and then I have to start from the beginning to get back to where I was. So if the cat is being weird, that could be a lot of
if the dog whines,
and a little.
If I clean the litter box, like
yeah,
just
that was a lot. That happened last night. I'm like, all I need is 6 minutes, and I can finish this task. However, if I'm getting interrupted every 10 seconds, this is going to take an hour.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'll put my earplugs in, or my earbuds in, and I'll listen to some energizing music, And then the part of me that gets distracted just listens to the music, and then I can do my stuff.
And she also hums when she gets
And I
in the
don't know I
zone,
do
and she
that.
doesn't realize she's doing it. And if her headphones are on, and she really doesn't, she sometimes will start singing too, and she doesn't realize she's doing it. And then my ADHD brain goes, there's somebody making a sound that I must now focus on entirely. And so then I can't do anything else, because now all my brain can do is try to figure out, what song is that?
And
What
the thing
song is that?
you
What
guys,
riff
I
is
was
that?
a musician, so here's the thing.
And I'll never
I
figure
played
it out.
hundreds of etudes, which no one would know who didn't study French horn in college.
And she just
tried
randomly
performance.
does that, and
And-
my brain's exploding because
And my
it's
brain
not
just
something I
goes
can
and finds
connect.
something that I practiced on when I was 12.
I don't recognize this song.
Well, neither did I.
She doesn't recognize what song.
I don't know. Evidently, we
Okay.
got someone to try and recognize a song. But yeah, Apple's saying body double, parallel play, co-working are all word terms and techniques about getting things done. Jess says, I totally understand about socializing with live people. Much prefer my online relationships.
Right. I feel like, I don't know, for some reason, like the online relationships don't suck the energy out of me in the same way that live people do.
Well, we've also been talking about we have to be more careful about when and how we spend time with incredibly extroverted people. Like the thing is we can be quite extroverted and we can talk and we can have things, but I feel
But
like
there's a time limit
there's
on
some
that.
people that we meet with though and we feel very depleted afterwards. So we're trying to be more mindful and make better decisions. Like there's some friends of ours who I love and who will be our friends for forever, but maybe we don't see them twice a week. Maybe we see them once every 6 weeks. And that when we see them, we spend a good amount of time with them, and then we both can have our needs met and do something fun. And we're also trying to see, well, how do we feel the best? So like these friends in particular were like, why don't we go out and have a cocktail or a mocktail? Because that's a really great spot. It's a neutral space and that works better. Or some other people, maybe we want them to be at our house or maybe we want to be at their house and really think things out. Miss Joanne is here.
Yay.
Joanne, we miss you so much. I know you've had so much moving stuff and I
Yeah.
appreciate you popping into my Facebook Messenger.
Merry Christmas to you and your hubby, and I hope things are going good in Georgia, and that you're,
You're
getting
happy.
getting situated and happy.
I know you're doing a lot of work to the house, and just know that you're in our thoughts and our hearts.
We were talking about you in the car just 2 days
were.
ago.
We were. I promise it was nice.
Yeah.
And Gina says, Kathy, we can declutter and organize together. That would be great. I got the dining room done, and I mean, the dining room was, I know you guys have heard me talk about it. You're like, didn't you do that like last month? Yes, and I'm
It's
still
an
counting
ongoing
it. I'm still counting it. And we're trying to see, I may go downstairs because like with us going out, what's really funny is I'm having to go through my clothes. And so more than half my clothes have to just go. Some things are going from me to Cheryl.
Like, yeah.
Like
I
the
have a pair
pants
of
you're
her
wearing.
I have a pair
my
of her
favorite
jeans.
pants she has.
I have her favorite jeans now.
Because they were falling off me. And this is my very favorite sweatshirt. Show them the back. And I'm very sad about losing that. That's why I got a new Gideon shirt. For those of you who are... Can you see? He's a little dude with a werewolf suit.
It's
His name
butterscotch.
is Butterscotch. So... I'm hoping they'll, like the Gideon stuff is like you can buy it once and you can't ever buy it again, but until like they might do another variation next year. So everybody
It's collectible stuff.
keep butterscotch in your brain for me.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that I don't know, I didn't think that these pants were going to actually fit me. And actually today, had to tighten my belt up so much. I think I'm going to have to get a new belt.
Yeah, and we'll go take care of that. And the thing is just for, the update, our goal for December is to not gain any weight. If we lose some weight, great. I think I lost a couple of pounds last time I talked to Stacy, but I think that was the end of November. When did we talk to Stacy? Was it
Just last week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did okay. I lost a couple pounds, not a lot. But
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to do a Mary's Mini in Kathy's Cooking Club. So we're going to try something totally different because that will be the mad scientist-y thing to do.
Hydrin. That's when Kathy told me that you were all about the peel and dice. I was like, touche.
Exactly. Hydrin, you made me buy the beast, and now it is your turn. So if everyone's going, why are you buying this trendy influencer blender? I'm like, it's Hydrin's fault.
She was talking all about it. We were
She's
all
like, it's amazing. And I really do like it.
I couldn't get home fast enough to go look at it.
But the peel and dice is pretty awesome. So for anybody who's like, I'm seeing all of this X, and Ninja Creamy's not been putting much on sale at all.
Yeah.
Ninja's been putting other products, just not the Ninja Creamy on sale. And
which I found very interesting, considering the way that they're throwing everything else on sale.
But that's all their new stuff, and that's what they did to get us to get the Ninja Creamy.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep an eye on things. But what's going to happen, and this happens every holiday season, it usually happens after Black Friday, and it goes through the beginning of January, is Amazon gets just so many returns. And those returns usually show up at Amazon Warehouse. So as some of those sales, maybe next week when I'm talking, because I'm going to try and come on live and talk something Kathy's Cooking Club every week to kind of give people a better idea of what it is, instead of me going, hey, I have this thing, come join me, imagine what it might be like, which I realize I've been doing, and I'm sorry. We can also go through some of that as well. And we can look at some of those details of how to buy something, how to look at it in the warehouse. We did do that a little bit when we did our Black Friday Live.
Yeah.
So you can look at that, but we'll go over that again too. But I think that's a good one. And I did buy the extra dicing kit. One thing you guys do need to know, if you have the Breville Sous Chef that's not the peel and dice, it's not the same thing without the peel and dice kit. To get the dicing add-on, you get another bowl plus blades, and it's $200 extra. So that's why I went ahead and switched, and I actually sold my other Breville Sous Chef.
Yeah.
I tried it a few times and did that. Oh, Bailey's here from Australia. We were just talking to our friends who lived in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I'm so American when it comes to geography. Actually, I'm worse than American because I don't know how to get anywhere. The lady tells me where to go. So because I just don't think in that way, I was somewhere and I was looking at the whole map of the world, and I was like, oh, it was I don't think I've seen that since I was 12. And I was like, hey, some things are making more sense. And Bailey's house sitting a Burmese cat called Wasabi today. That sounds adorable. And says it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit, humid, sunny days, but also storms on and off. So I'm eating all the salads and instead of the usual roast vegetables. And in Kathy's Cooking Club, I have 2 different sushi classes, and one I use smoked tofu to make some really yummy stuff. I make some really good sushi.
Yeah.
I made onigiri for you, which you get.
I'm just still not a huge fan.
She doesn't like seaweed or anything. Anything that tastes like the ocean tastes like fish to her. So there's not an in-between. Oh, hey, iCast Enterprises, welcome. Merry Christmas to you, and amazing wishes for a Happy New Year. Thank you very much, and I wish definitely the same for you. And let us know if we can help you on your show at all or anything. I know iCast is in Doc Rock's group with us about doing video. And actually, we have another camera to set up, which probably won't happen next week. That we have to call. We have to make an appointment with Doc and go, Doc, tell us how to unpack this and where to set it up and how to do all the things. That's why it's good to have a Doc Rock.
Yep.
Penny says, since I'm only one person and we'll have the cheese for a sandwich tomorrow, should I cut the rest and wrap for the freezer or wrap a block in cling film and then freeze to use later? You could do it either way. Probably what I would do, it depends on how long you're going to freeze it. If you're going to freeze it for a couple of weeks, you could slice it and freeze it in a really good container. If it's going to be a long time, it's going to dry out. You could also freeze it a little bit and grate it and then freeze it grated. And if you freeze it on a cookie sheet, so it freezes individually, and then put it into like a little Ziploc or something, you can pull out just what you want. Does that help a little bit? And Mel says, I listen to music as well to keep my monkey brain busy so I can get things done. Oh, good. Because Cheryl does not relate, because she's like, it's just noise. Why aren't you being annoyed by that? I'm like, no, it's not. It's this part of me, this part of my brain that's annoyed by noise. This part of me is like, woo, fun.
And the only music that I can listen to is instrumental music, like classical music. Classical music I can focus better with. Any other music, if there's any kind of voice in it at all, my brain automatically tries to listen to the words. And then it can't do anything else but focus on words. So it's like totally opposite of yours.
Well, I was on Spotify, and actually, let me see if I can find the name of this list, because ICAST was saying the Perry household, all three of us are ADHD and polymaths. It gets really interesting indeed. On Spotify, I found this because I looked up ADHD under playlists. And it's ADHD cleaning playlist, 154 plus beats per minute. And that really worked for me in that moment. There'll be other times that I have to listen to like Windham Hill Christmas music or like sound bowls. So I just have to kind of feel out where everything is, because I definitely got really emotionally dysregulated, and probably I don't know if brain dysregulation is a thing. I'm not officially diagnosed at ADHD, though I do have an awful lot of the symptoms. So if I push I can get so much done when I'm hyper focusing, and it's awesome. And then I'm like, I'm going to win the world, because now this means that my mind is right and this is how it's going to be forever. But no, I know now I'm hyper focusing, and eventually it will crash. That's how I can write and photograph a book in a month. Because everyone goes, you can't do that. And I'm like,
yes, she can.
Watch me. But then I do pay a price. So I am trying to learn in my old age how to behave more appropriately so that it's not feast or famine. But it's very interesting to look at it, read a little bit about this, because even if I'm just have a little bit of this and some of these techniques can help me, that's really, really amazing. I mean, there's so much more information about how our brains work than, especially those of us who maybe our brains work a little bit differently than a typical person. And Jessica says, I'm a nurse and have to deal with patients all day in the clinic, so I look forward to downtime and quiet time in the evening. Our friends are nurses, and one is a chemotherapy nurse. I know it has a special name, but that's how I remember what she does. And it's a special kind of work, and it's amazing what you guys do. I guess is downsizing and new belts are great problems to have. So proud of both of you. Thank you. You're so kind. Plants Only Muncher says, for Christmas, I bought myself 5 3-drawer plastic organizers to organize my studio apartment, especially the kitchen area. They were only $15 each, but of good quality. I'm going to put my spices in one. That's awesome. Having your spices organized is one of the best things you can do to create space for your own inner mad scientist in the kitchen, because then you can really grab things and smell them together and make up things. And And I realized, I don't know if I talked about this, but like I've been doing that smelling spices thing together since I was 6 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and no one taught me how to do it. So like my mom didn't cook a lot of things from scratch, but she would make fried chicken. And so she would put cornmeal and some flour and a very few things in a bag, put the chicken and shake it up. She'd also leave it out on the stove all day. I don't know how we didn't die. But I don't know how that was then from there.
There's so many things that we have put in our mouth that now is a thing that wasn't a thing then. Like I can't tell you in college, like in my 20s, how many times I ate leftover pizza that was left on a counter for probably 12 hours. Like with meat on it and everything else.
But my mom didn't have a lot of spices, but I'd pull everything out and I'd smell them together and I'd start putting things in there and shaking it up. And then actually I think I was around 8 or 9 when that was my official job in the kitchen, was to make the spice blend.
Huh. You were already well on your way.
I
had a shaking job in the kitchen too. Like I had
shake and bake.
I had to use the shake and bake bags. That was my job, was to shake the shake and bake bag.
Oh, Gina has a very important question. Have we seen Santa yet on the East Coast?
Not yet.
We're still waiting on the West Coast. You know, do you guys?
I gotta go help them get into a house after we get off of here.
True.
I have to unlock the door for them.
It's true. We actually have to bring some packages in for a friend down the street. And Penny said, yes, that helped about the freezing. Then I can grate for the potato soup. Absolutely. And when I make it next week, I may do half and half, and that's totally fine. You could also just freeze a little block of it for another time. And then you could either grate it or not. This cheese, because we're talking about, as far as I know, the bean recipe. So the chickpea cheese, it does melt and things like that, but it kind of goes, whoo. It doesn't do the really pretty pulls and things like that. So because of that, it helps a lot to have it to be frozen if you're going to grate it and do some stuff, or it'll go. And that's not helpful. And Apple's telling me brain dysregulation is absolutely a thing. Thank you very much. Can I share a link to that playlist? There are tons. I have tons of projects. Yes, and it has some old like 80s music. Let me make sure. I don't want to get a YouTube strike. But it has like, I think it has a couple of explicit things on it, but like it's Toxic by Britney Spears, Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine, Bang Bang. So, I mean, there could be bad words on there that I don't even hear. I just hear the music. But I'll see what I can do. Because let's see. Can I move to folder share? Friend activity. No, that doesn't help. What's that? That doesn't help. I can. Oh, come on. Let me copy it somewhere. No.
There's not a share option?
That's what I'm looking for. I downloaded it. Add to queue. Add to profile. Add to other playlist.
Share, right at the very bottom.
Share. Copy link to playlist. Embed playlist. Is that copy? Okay. So I'm putting it on from the laptop into the comments as soon as they pull up. Spotify play. This is not my personal playlist. It's just what I've been listening to. And I don't know if it's in an iframe. Let's see if. I don't know if this is going to help or not, but let's find out. If that doesn't work, let me know. Here, I'm going to see if I can copy it and put it in a different browser and see what happens. I think it will come up.
If you have Spotify, it should pull it up, yeah.
Yeah. But there were a lot. This is just the one that I kind of listened to. And there was another one that was like relaxing, and I forget what they call it. They called it something, and it was just like, and it worked for me. So I should try a few. Oh, binaural beats. I can't say that word. Helps me tremendously, and I've done that too. So it's like when we've got your earbuds in and stuff goes in different places, and that really does calm my little like exciting brain. I'm smelling spice notes challenged. Well, the thing, when you're smelling two things together, and I've done live classes and I've taught this to people, because people go, I'll never know. You just have a special nose. Joanne says that all the time. I want your nose. I'm like, no, you don't, because I have allergies. It's not that great. But if you smell two things together, they will either smell good, neutral, or bad. And once you smell two things that you know can't go, like you're smelling the chili and now you've pulled over some spice and you're like, I feel like I'm going to vomit in my mouth a little bit. Like it really is like this, like, whoa, because you taste them together kind of, because smell and taste are very closely related, and they use a little bit of each other. Mm-hmm. And also there are times I'll be like, this is going to be disgusting. Ooh, that's actually fantabulous.
Yeah, I've seen her do that a few times.
And so it goes.
And she'll always be like, smell these together. And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't have the same, like, it has to be obviously terrible for me to tell. And I've tried a few obviously terrible ones.
You have, well, you don't trust your palate and things either. We're working on that.
Why should I? I mean, it's different every day. Like,
that is true. So there'll be days that some things are too spicy for her and other days they're not.
And we don't know where I can't have black pepper, and then the next day I'm having chili tofu.
It's a little frustrating sometimes, but in general, most people. So hopefully we can get over that hump. We can work on some of that together. Because I'm also thinking maybe we need another like blending kind of class.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Jessica says, I can't wait to be able to grate your cheeses on homemade pizza. I made a sourdough discard pizza today. Ooh. Now, and again, so like, I'm going to eventually do a cashew recipe too. The cashew recipe, because there's oil in cashews, right? Fat in cashews. It is a little more sumptuous. But you still get all the good flavor. And I think we can do something with tapioca starch that will give us something delicious. The oat queso is like really amazing too. Thanks for trying. Recommendations are always great. Oh, good. All right, it works. Yay, the music works.
Cool.
Plants Only Muncher bought 4 pomegranates at Sam's Club. I was going to buy a pomegranate from Sprouts, and they were all yicky. And someone, do you guys see all those mandarins? We got those as a present. Mm-hmm. So thank you if you're watching. Yes. And you gave them to us.
And they are delicious.
They are lovely, and they are Satsuma mandarins. And so the Satsumas I had in New Orleans were big, and I love them because they were probably more mature and a little bit looser skinned. But these are delightful, and we've really been enjoying them. So thank you very much. So had not bought one in years. What a mess to cut the pomegranate. Yes, indeed. I got pomegranate juice on the kitchen wall. You guys can't see, but so like we have, this is a deck house. So that means the ceiling's very high. We don't have an attic or anything. It's like
20 feet maybe.
And they're clear story windows. So like windows that go across the little up part of the house. And if you look straight up, you can see where something might have exploded at some point up there. One day we'll paint again.
And I have tried to scrub that with like one of those big pole things and everything. So it's just going to have to be painted.
Well, you guys, do you have other questions, answers,
I would just like to say thank you to everyone who has sent us nice messages and Christmas cards and all the lovely things. A little shout out to our friend Thomas in Canada, who sent us a lovely email that made our week.
Oh, it's delightful. So we are, and you wrote us back again. We're going to write you again.
Yep.
So we have a young chef on our hands, and we're
Yes.
excited. So that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very excited. We're always excited to hear from you guys and hear how things are going. Either in the comments here, you can always reach out and email at kathyhester@gmail.com or support@healthyslowcooking.com.
If we don't always get to it the same day, but we try to get to it at least within 24 or 48 hours. It just kind of depends on how my work is.
And if I get a lot of emails, like right now, I'm behind with some things. So if you guys show up in the lives, ask the questions again, like we just did with the port wine, so that you get some of that done.
Yeah.
Jeremy says that Wegmans has some wonderful Satsuma mandarins too.
Nice.
But I think we're going to go to bed.
Yeah, I got to run down the road.
Oh, that's
but-
right. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'm probably going to sleep in because we're probably not going to get to bed till after midnight. So it'll probably be lunch or dinner-ish. I also have to see when we're having a meal with our friends. But what I might do is if I'm cooking and I know we're going to see them later, so I might just pop on live and we'll cook along some stuff
Yeah,
together.
maybe we'll just do the cooking on camera, yeah?
Yeah, because I've got a little hot plate. We can do it over here. Fondue is coming soon, though. I think
Yeah.
that maybe
I got to find there's a big thing that looks like this but is square that the cheese goes into,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure where I put that at.
We'll find them.
I bet it's up there. I bet I just didn't see it.
I think it is up there.
I couldn't quite see into the cabinet because I wasn't tall enough. So.
Just as, those are expensive up there. But we'll have to look for Satsumas.
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you in Canada? Running down the road, playing Santa, kind of.
Kind of.
But yeah, it's just been kind of a busy day here at the Purser-Hester household.
It has been a really busy day.
I walked the dog, you were cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Then we sometimes just going out, like I did nothing to go out. I put on clothes. I put on clean clothes like a grown-up should. And that was exhausting.
Yeah.
Now, I can do a 4-hour cooking class, but you asked me to put on clothes. That's just
Last night, like we've done something every day, like Wednesday.
I've added cooking class, but you asked me to put on clothes to the list.
Did you guys hear? Siri is telling me she's added putting on clothes to my list. I don't know how to tell her I do wear clothes. It's just like I have my bedroom shoes on. But it's a new clean shirt. You even washed it since I got it.
Yeah, I washed
and I have
clothes.
Fergus hair all over it already.
So Wednesday we went to the North Carolina Chinese Lantern Festival again. We've gone several years in a row. This year, if it's something that any of you are familiar with or that you go to, you can look it up online if you want to see what it looks like and everything. It's the North Carolina Chinese Lantern Festival in Cary, North Carolina at the Cocoa Booth Amphitheater. And this year was totally different. Like they completely changed it. Like everything was different from last year. It was amazing.
If you're in the area, and I think it travels because when we were in Massachusetts, we drove by where it was either getting ready to come there or had just left. And so it must be in different places, but it was magical, and they actually make all those giant lanterns and
by hand
with the wires soldering together to make the shapes, and they have computer chips in some of them and programming, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, and then when we went and took a walk with Jill Dalton yesterday, and we walked around some neighborhood, the neighborhood that she lives in over there, and y'all, these people go all out for their houses. Like there was this house that we had never seen anything like it.
No, it looked
This-
like you were at Disney because like they made an overlay of their house and they literally changed it from like being in Whoville to being in a snowstorm.
With sound and everything.
So there was like a projector, and I'm like, we're in a real nice neighborhood
Yeah.
because that projector is not stolen.
Right. So, but I was just amazed because like if anybody's ever been to Disney and seen how they do the projections on the castle and how it fits perfectly, and then there's all this activity going on and everything, it was just like that. And it was like the story of the Grinch. And even like when it would do a house, the overlay perfectly matched their house so that the
windows.
windows perfectly matched their windows.
I've never seen anything like
No,
this
it
at
was-
somebody's house. Like we've
Like,
seen something
yeah.
like this at like Disney or Universal.
So I'm thinking this person must have moved here, used to work
Or-
for Disney or something,
or
because
just as a really good special effects person.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we can get some video. I'll see if I can
Oh
show
my
you
gosh.
guys tomorrow.
I got some video of that. Maybe we can just put a little without the sound.
But big hugs to you guys because I am ready to just drop down off of the stool and just curl up on the court floor and go to sleep.
But she can't because she's got to ride with me down the road to play Santa Claus.
Yeah. But thanks to Jessica and Diane and Apple and Lydia and Penny and Mel.
Yeah.
You guys just have amazing Christmases, holidays of your choice. New Year's is coming up. That's a great holiday. We can celebrate that one too. And like I said, we'll come on at some point for some reason tomorrow. And then we're also going to do something New Year's Eve and Christmas Day. I just still don't know what times those are going to be.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. See, it's time for me to go to bed.
It's
Don't you
getting there.
think?
Yeah. Your
Yeah,
eyes are getting.
I'm so tired.
You're getting the weak eyes going on.
Do you have anything else you want to say to
No,
the
thanks
lovely
everyone.
peoples?
Thanks everyone. Have a very happy Christmas. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Tomorrow, if we don't, we are thinking of you and wishing you just the very, very best day. Okay? We'll see you guys tomorrow. Big hugs. Be sure to leave Santa some nice vegan cookies and a little homemade oat milk.
Yep.
Don't be lazy. Santa works hard.
Yep.
Okay? All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.